Hi, I'm Yeat the Bias User, and today I'm going to be reviewing this new Yeat album, Afterlife. My first impression with Yeat was about a year ago with his album Too Alive, a record I found to be worth talking about, but nothing to come back to. And I didn't even bother to talk about the second record that dropped the same year. And even with this newest, the looks of this bloated track list was something I suspected to be filler after filler. But once I got into it, I will say it didn't give me the best impression at the start. While Yeat does give out what I would call a more standout version of a vocal performance derived from Young Thug that's clean and auto-tuned and not too emphasized on No More Talk, the instrumental is very generic, even when the low-key electronics stand out ironically. But then we get the track Shmunk, where I was loving the static coming from the bass, and there was a good brightness from the humming backing up the beat. Also, the Young Boy feature was definitely one of his better appearances, with his flow staying consistently in its speed. So it's a great song, and that's what managed to make me stay, because I don't recall ever liking a Yeat song, and I'm glad there was more where that came from, which isn't on the chill Better Off, because remember, it's still your typical bloated mainstream hip-hop record. You're gonna come across a handful of weak spots, even if there is stuff you like. There's still appreciation to have towards a track like Rave Party, that's super dense in its chemistry between its static synth and bass, that both pull off an intense instrumental. The tracks I mentioned so far were the better of what Yeat has always been doing, but we then get him going to dance synth-pop territory with None ID Change that has a smooth tapping drum that sounded great, and the beat got well backed up by a deep synth bass that was not only thick and engaging, created a moody adventure. I wish the bass on Whoa was like that, but oh well. Now it was low-key, but that managed to make the bass, humming synth, and soft vocals sound as cute as it did. Slamm was soft but still mean, and managed to be another high point in a group of great tracks that had a bit of an interruption from the track Mean Feen, but just so it can get followed up by good points on the album. The smooth synths on How It Go are catchy and playful, and Some To Do had 2 layers of scratching, robot sounds that came together greatly. I liked how strong and touchable the bass production was on Backup, but it had a boring and almost lifeless execution. It was a tease, and while there is a track I liked a lot, Split, to come next, there is a run of duds afterwards that ends on my least favorite, Watch, where all the instruments have more than enough space between each other, not to mention it was just a snooze overall. But I'm glad the final couple of tracks were bops. The bubbly pianos on Tight Money were pretty, Demon Tide had a groove to it, and finally there's the closer Myself. That is one of the better rock spins from hip-hop artists. I was into the moody guitar riff, the drums were crisp, and Yeat's auto-tune managed to fit in. And my love for this track could stop here, but more spirit was brought to the table when violins joined. Not a track that represents the entire album, but a great closer to an impressive effort out of Yeat. Afterlife isn't a record where it's all clear skies, and again, it's bloated, but quality-wise, he's improved a lot compared to the last time I talked about him. And as much as I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make an album this good later, this will still remind me of the potential I've always suspected he had, and thankfully it was finally met. I'm gonna give this album a 6.8. Like, subscribe, comment how you feel, or send a suggestion. Check out my other social medias, and I'll see you next time.